What you think, Aaron and Shad? You haven't said anything on this one.
Can I flesh you a little bit?
Sure.
One of my struggles with like having these conversations that we don't have to substantiate things that can be proven with simple Google searches. And I know what I'm saying, for the sake of the show, it'll slow the show down, but I've accepted. I even changed my name to Ghost of Shad, but I'm accepting that unfortunately, to get popular, and I'm not saying this to you, but just in general, to get popular in this space, you don't have to be factual. You just got to be salacious. And I'm accepting that Miss Fantastic, he had his stick, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I just got to call it what it is from our vantage point. Is that you have a vision or an idea of Black people, so you do a really good job of picking and choosing examples to kind of substantiate your point. But it's obvious to anybody who particularly does social research of your limitations. I keep saying it to you, not to be disrespectful, but I'm saying you kind of show your hand repeatedly. So to the kids watching, right? Because I think most of the adults, we just, we enjoy the show, but to the kids watching, this is like horrible pseudoscience. A person makes a claim, they find a video, they say, based on these 2 videos I've showed y'all, my claim is true. We already know, it's been substantiated. Criminality is a component of all people, all cultures, but it's a small minority. For some reason, Miss Fantastic is hell-bent on making the majority of Black people fight what the small minority of us is doing, even to the point where he'll kind of use misleading information to make his points, which I think is unfortunate, for a man, I think, of your caliber as far as your intellect, how you go about having the discussions. I think anyone who scams people out of money is horrible, and they should be called out for it. But as soon as you start extrapolating that to a group of people, to me, it just shows your bias. I always say what's interesting about scam and waste and fraud, like particularly when I talk to military men, because I'm gonna do what y'all do, right? I'm gonna use social media. I'm gonna use any data point to make my claim, right? I've heard that the military hasn't had a clean audit in I don't know when, and it's so much fraud, and the fraud might be hard to prove, but waste within the military has been proven repeatedly. How much money gets wasted with the military establishment. So again, to me, like I said, I try to get a deeper understanding of what we're here for. What are we trying to cleanse? What are we trying to change? Because Black people in general don't have a problem with scamming. I was going to point out, HAMP, like your village, your community supported me for my project that hasn't come out yet, and that money is still sitting in the account, ready to be allocated once things are in place. So now that I provide an example of the opposite of what Ms. Fantastic said, then what? What do we do now? Now we're at a standstill. We have examples, real-time examples of a Black person within your grasp, Ms. Fantastic, that that you can actually talk to, that got supported by a community of Black people, and that money is still in the account.
What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know of any charity organizations that are, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm saying you found an example of a woman who's scammed her community, and then you use this one example to say, hey, this is what niggas do. Told y'all. See, I found a video. This is what niggas do. So I'm saying what niggas also do is get supported by niggas, and then the money stays in the account until it's time to use for what it was raised for. So I'm saying with that example, now we say, what do niggas do? Because we got 2 examples that are opposite.
Okay, and I was never. When Cheeky posed the same question, I said I'm not saying that the majority of people that give money or ask for money are frauding, of course, right? What I'm saying though, there's a substantial number, and it's always a big thing within the Black community as to how and why these people are able to defraud each other and target each other so easily. Y'all are acting like it's not just this case. I gave you other cases, BLM being the piece de resistance.
Yeah, I got Cheeky. I know what I'm saying, Miss Fantastic. The reason why I say it's pseudoscience. You come up with your only point. So I'm saying, how do we get to a point where we can repeat?
I gotta make a comparison, right? So even in the Bernie Madoff situation and all these other things, right?
Really?
Those things were more investment based and whatever. Dr. Umar is hope for the people, and I'm doing for the community, and and give me money, right? A promise thing without even anything that you don't produce, and niggas still keep giving. Tulsa Real Estate Fund, right? That was a possible investment thing, but still more so instead of
I got you.
me actually. So that's what I'm saying. So even when we do that, and I'm not applauding.
I'm with you. I got you. You don't got to reiterate to me. What I want to ask you is again, right? Because you make these claims as if there's like some type of factual nature of it. I'm saying, how do we substantiate? Is there a number? Do we have to find 100 cases of fraud to then say this is what black people do? But if we find 200 cases of the thing not happening, does that change your hypothesis? That's what I'm saying. That's why I call it pseudoscience, because you can just kind of throw anything out, extrapolate it to black people, and then we got to accept it as fact. But what's the formula? What's the calculation?
All right, so I'm looking at it, right? So this is the question I pose. Give me fraud conviction breakdown by race, right? Federal fraud, theft, embezzlement offenders, fiscal year 2022. White was 40.1%, black 31.1%, Hispanic 22.2%, other 6.2%, right? So yeah, clearly white people are in the lead, black people are in second place. 10%, 9% difference, or, yeah, 9% difference, right? So white people, of course, being that they're the vast majority of whatever, they're going to lead, right? But what I'm saying is, and again, I never said niggas did it the most or whatever. I'm speaking to this culture of how and why, again, the overall thing, GoFundMe culture, how it's so easy for us to predate on our own directly.
I'll follow you.
Hold on. So, well, it's not just for you, Shad. We got 400 some people watching, right?
I think everybody, bro. Ain't gonna lie. I think everybody pretty got. I think everybody got.
I don't think they do, bro, because you know these niggas don't like.
You gotta answer my question, though, Miss Fantastic. Because I'm saying the pseudoscience. So you've done your due diligence to look through GoFundMe culture.
99% of everything said on the internet, brother, is pseudoscience, right? Even if and when it's not, because I don't like y'all. Everything I said earlier, Cheeky didn't believe me, and y'all had to re-verify it or whatever. It's on the.
No, this particular thing, because it's a quantity conversation. I'm asking you just plainly: have you been able to assess that the majority of efforts in fraud for black people?
I'm not, but I'm not making that claim. So you're trying to. It's like it's a loaded question. I never made the claim that most of fucking wasn't. I never said that. So you're asking me a question about something that I never said. What I'm saying is, though, there is a substantial uptick in comparison in our community and a fucking whatever you want to call it, where it's okay for you to fucking scam.
Show me. I'm not uptick. Show me.
That uptick means that you have some kind of data.
Yeah, show me.
Well, brother, it's in it real time. We will have to fucking wait till the end of the year to find out.
What about the first 6 months? First 6 months of the year. What about that? What the data say about the first 6 months of 2026?
So let me compare last year to this year.
Okay. Yeah, compare the numbers. Now let me use some pseudoscience.
Yeah, go ahead. It's fun, right? I like it sometimes. It's fun.
Well, but this one might be a little bit more substantial, right? Do you guys have barbershops where you from?
Yeah.
Do people come in there with soap and steaks?
Yep.
Did that happen where you from, Cheeky?
Yep.
Aaron?
Yes.
And it happened where I'm from too. And then I was going to school in Rhode Island. It was happening there. If I was ever in East New York, it was happening there. When I went down to North Carolina, went to the barbershop, it was happening there. Where somebody would come in with, the Tide Pods for 50% off because they had stolen them. Well, my man used to go to the store and somehow he was able to steal Clico bottles and sell them to us for $40. So I'm looking at this and we all from different places and we see people boost in and come sell it to us and we buy it because it was a mark off, or we like literally, allegedly ask the booster to say, hey, next time can you get Dove? Allegedly. What is that? Is that a cultural thing?
What murder? That's my response to it. What murder?
He was a great guy.
You can't have it both ways, brother. I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways.
No, I get it. I'm saying
that both ways.
Nah, 100. Hold on, Miss Evans. You go. But what I'm saying is though,
What?
I don't know about they shit in terms of like they barbershops, but I seen the supercuts. I don't know if they had a booster come in. But if we all been subject to the booster at the barbershop, does that mean anything or it's rubbish?
Yes, it means something. The American way is to get it how you can get it. That's the American way. That's you will find that in all institutions. I understand people admonishing it, right? So we saying, yeah, the man that got the deal on the Tide Pods is scamming.
He's a booster.
He's a booster, right?
Yeah, but you can't do like I think y'all. So either y'all aren't understanding. Well, I can't say that. Either y'all are jumping over what Hamp is saying, but he said supercuts. I promise you, the fucking CD man or the booster man or whoever is not walking through a supercuts offering in Tide Pods is the point.
Yeah, I know, but what about the military? What about the military? What about the military and the contracts and all those things that happen? What about that?
We don't even have to do. We don't got to do that. If you look at the Skid Row people, they be selling shit too. Anytime there's druggies around, especially white druggies, they sell you shit too. I stayed in Douglasville and Carrollton, Georgia. Yeah, that's white as white can get. They have boosters there too, and they're gonna always have them wherever they can get some money at. Right? I've been around white people in white cities.
They still target the niggas too. They niggas take the biggest advantage of Jays. You know that, Cheeky. No, don't do that. So hold on, just real quick.
Like white people don't take advantage of white. Hold
on. Fiscal year 2025, right? So October 1st, 2024 to September 2025, 4,804 federal theft, property destruction, and fraud cases in the quick facts report. Slightly different grouping, with race reported as Black, white, Hispanic, and other. Now, I'm going to say property destruction, but I don't think we lead in property destruction. White folks lead in that, right? Clearly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's tipping cars after hockey games and shit.
Yeah, so but yet and still, Black people were the highest for 2025, y'all. So I mean, shit, the numbers I gave earlier from 2022. So actually, now we done made us look bad because I done had to do the numbers like I wanted to do, and niggas are leading in fraud.
I thought we were going to go funny.
Hold on. What we gonna do now? What we doing now?
What do you mean? What we doing now?
What are we doing now?
I thought we were looking at I thought you were talking about GoFundMe culture.
No, what were we talking about? The overall, brother. Wait. The whole thing y'all was getting me with, and I was fucking laying it down and just agreeing to. White folks leading fraud, white collar crime, Bernie Madoff, all this other shit. We looking at the numbers, and the number says fucking otherwise.
So you found a snapshot of time to say in the last 6 months. Because I'm saying I was asking about GoFundMe culture. I'm following you. I promise you ain't getting nothing past me. I'm the real data man here, not you. You're not getting nothing past me. Trust me. Here's what I'm saying to you. I thought we were talking about GoFundMe, but now you want to address the predominant mass culture. So I'm saying you found a snapshot in the last 6 months when Black people were leading in fraud. What about the last 10 years?
The last year.
Okay, last year. What's the last 10 years?
This I just told you. It's not going to show you. We're in the year, Shad. You're not going to get the numbers to the year's over.
No, I got you.
If we're doing fiscally, you have to wait to it'll be over in October. So we'll know in October of 2026 what the numbers were for fraud and whatever for this time period.
Right. So I'm looking at the data. It says fraud cases. So is this convictions? Is what's happening? What's the data? What's the data actually talking about?
It tells you federal theft, properties destruction, fraud cases in the quick facts report. Slightly different
because we know that Chat GPT is an aggregate. So are these convictions? These arrests?
It says it right here. Okay. I wasn't comparing last year to the beginning of this year. I was comparing completed federal fiscal years.
Do fraud convictions. Do fraud convictions for the year.
All right, let's do what they say. All right, so give me. So now give me fraud convictions by race from 2015 fiscal year to 2025 fiscal year.
Yeah, man, you need to change your instinct to thinking. It does a deeper dive.
Mm-hmm. The thinking one.
Yeah. See,
This is aggregating.
it's all good, man. We're gonna get Miss Fantastic right, man.
The shit think too. Trust me, it definitely thinks. The U.S. Citizen Commission has data there isn't a single table to aggregate the race breakdown of fraud theft cases through information spread across 11 separate annual source books. Because of that, I can't accurately populate a year by year table without extracting each year's figures individually. I don't want to guess or interpolate what's the name. So it just gives you the whole. It just gives you the thing, bro. And at the end of it gives you that at the end.
ChatGPT gonna kill the black community, bro. It's crazy.
So
can't even get a table of actual convictions, but if Miss Fantastic swear he won something. It's crazy. I hate it, bro. I hate it, Miss Fantastic, because we don't gotta be like this, bro. We don't gotta do this.
So now here's the so just to be clear, Shad and Cheeky don't owe the concession for the crime percentage, Miss Fantastic. I do, because I mentioned that white people lead in those things and I assumed it just based on what I saw.
No, you don't. It said cases. We still need to see convictions. Yeah. We still need to see
100%. I'm saying my concession is people that were arrested for fraud, and property destruction would be included, right? Because oftentimes insurance goes into that and et cetera, as an example, right? So based on that, I would have, just based on the arrest shot, to your point, it's not convictions, but based on people who they thought they had enough evidence to arrest, because you're supposed to need evidence. It looks like, based on that table, that black people had the highest percentage. So I have to concede that, because you guys didn't say that. I said it. You see what I mean?
So, I don't think you should concede yet. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I want to see the convictions, but just based on what we have at our grasp, that's the only thing I can go off right now.
And federal, bro. So again, even for you to even get a charge of federal, dog, you know how that go.
They got a conviction rate of 90%.
Yeah, right? if we talking federal again, bro, like I said, Fed case of fraud and embezzlement and whatever, bro, is usually a lot more rock solid than what the state is. And so, but it is what it is, right? At the end of the day, this is what I'm saying, right? Getting back to your point and what you were asking me directly about the GoFundMe thing, right? What I'm saying is this: the black community has created a GoFundMe culture as to where people will defraud the group, the village, the community, right? From poor decision making, because they know niggas like to give to the niggas they shouldn't be giving to, for the most part. I gave you Dr. Umar, I gave you these other things and so on and so forth, right? And in the sake of the black community, you're not supposed to challenge, you're not supposed to ask questions, you're not supposed to accuse a person of fraud, even when you can juxtapose it to something that somebody else has did the same thing. Shout out to HAMP, well, Q Butter. Q Butter, how long Q Butter school been going, HAMP?
I think 7 years.
7 years. You think fucking Q Butter has gotten anywhere near donations? I'm not saying this as a diss, because I know Q Butter didn't even come out and promote it that way. Q Butter is very, very just self-starter and doing this stuff, a lot of stuff that he can do however he do it. Q Butter's never had a nationwide or community-wide campaign, give me money for the school, give me money for the school, give me money for the school, and never produced a school, is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, if you have enough personality, if you have a big enough sob story or whatever, you know that you can come to your own people and predate them. You can prey on them. That's problematic. Me personally, again, outside of it being extremely bizarre or extreme circumstances, why the fuck you don't got no life insurance?
So
right?
Okay. So let me ask a question.
Burial insurance.
Let me ask a question. So in regards to that, right? That is pretty much just like black people in my algorithm for the most part. And so when I see the funeral funds, is that a negative thing? Like, to ask the community to help fund the funeral when somebody dies unexpectedly? Like, is that a negative? Is that a bad kind of like outlook to like a thing to do, to have to do?
If I have seen you motherfucking ball out in the club at 1942 and all this other shit up and down your timeline having fun, I'm sorry, Chica, I'm pissing you off right now. If I've seen you waste your fucking money, okay, for years on years on years, all right, and little Junebug get killed in the streets, which you live in motherfucking Atlanta, you live in Memphis, you live in Chicago, he out here motherfucking running around playing in the streets, right? And you didn't take the time to put a motherfucking the Gerber shit. What they say, HAMP? $20 a month. How much a 3.5 cost?
The Gerber fund.
A Gerber fund cheaper than a 3.5. Niggas, I don't know how many 3.5s niggas smoke a month, right? So again, because there's no accountability, there's no set standard for do the shit you're supposed to do first and have fun later. Niggas live their lives recklessly as fuck, do whatever the fuck they want to do, and then come to the motherfucking community when tragedy happens. Repeatedly. After showing the bad behavior publicly. Now, if you was doing whatever and you not showing me that you out here living it up and you got it and you got the you know what I'm saying, tax time come around and you doing the motherfucking money fan, cool, fine. But those are the people that come forward first. Help me.
That's why I just be saying, like, it just, I'm really trying to understand my brother. I don't get weight. I did another prompt. So ChatGPT says that even GoFundMe site says that there's only 0.1%. It only accounts for 0.1% of fraud on the account. So GoFundMe has said that the fraudulent campaigns account for fewer than 1 in 1,000 campaigns or below 0.1%. There's no
eliminate them.
There's no trends that show any uptick in fraud. There is more use because the platform has gotten bigger, but there's no indication, no data set that you can find that shows that there's this uptick in fraud using GoFundMe. If Miss Fantastic has an issue with people making bad life decisions, then using GoFundMe to help them in that situation, that's another thing. That's not fraud. That's you saying, I don't like the fact that a nigga can not do his due diligence to make sure somebody dies. The proper mechanisms are in place. You upset that they go to GoFundMe. That's not the same as fraud, bro.
I'll give you that
one. Definition.
It's kind of fraud. It's fraud to me. It's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud to me.
That's fraud to me.
Brother, let me finish. Yeah. It's fraud to me because, like I said, I gave you all the parameters and examples. If you are out here, motherfucking, you have money. And then you don't use the money for what you should, and you come to me with a fucking sob story, and you play on my heartstrings to give you money for you fucking your money up. To me, it's fraud, right? But hey, by legal standpoints and whatever law, that wouldn't be considered fraud, right? What I'm saying is this, okay? Even outside of that, in the cases of where this one, and there's another lady out here right now that's talking about, she on TikTok talking about, oh my God, I'm pregnant with my baby. And the doctors told me when I had his next baby, I'm going to die. Not might, not possibly, not highly, but guaranteed. I'm guaranteed to die from having my fourth or fifth child. No daddy's around, no nothing. And again, why can she come to the community like that? Why can she come forward? Because niggas made it okay. Because you can't tell a black woman, close your pussy up. You can't tell a black woman, hey, listen, I'm sorry. You made a fucking bad decision. You fucking with an ain't shit nigga. You came to us.
It's crazy how everything interconnected, bro. This content creation game, Cole, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all, hey, Mr. Tess, y'all niggas should have been comic book writer. You should have been a comic book writer, bro. You should have been a comic book writer. You be connecting all these things to this central idea. It's amazing, but you should write comic books for real.
Hey man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying, bro. I might start it. I might start, bro.
This is a reach, bro. This is a reach.
I think if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about some of the people that GoFundMe has helped. All right. What about Breonna Taylor? Mary Copin, Viola Ford Fletcher, James Shaw Jr. Oh, let me see. It says, and many more cases have GoFundMe has definitely helped. There are many examples of GoFundMe campaigns that raise substantial sums for Black individuals or their families and had significant impact. Some were for medical treatment, some for victims of violence, others for educational and community goals. George Floyd is on. So again, it's this.
George Floyd. What the fuck would George Floyd need to be on there for? His family got the biggest payout in history.
Official
so
George
this
Floyd
nigga got a federal
fund.
Federal payout. He got a federal payout and a fucking GoFundMe payout.
Apparently, at least that's what it's saying. So with that being the
point, how much money did nigga need?
No. I'm not helping your point. I'm pointing to other things that actually help. Right, instead of these people that are instead of these people that are quote unquote scamming, right? if Shad is saying that only 0.1% percentage of people or that have a GoFundMe actually are being found a fraud, and then there's other cases where people's educational goals are being reached or other things are being reached, and they're all black. Why? And I know those numbers definitely outmatch the numbers of quote unquote fraud, right?
Again,
If
y'all are
if
making an
that is the
argument I'm
case,
not
if that is the
making.
case, if the
Why do y'all
case,
keep
if
doing
the
that
case,
though?
what he's
Why do y'all
saying,
keep
though.
doing that?
it
Why
does
do y'all keep
what no what
why do
he's
y'all
saying
keep
is
trying to make an
that
argument?
black people have a culture. I know what he's saying, but what he's saying has no real validity to it because the only points that he's pointing out are the ones that he can do that with. He's not making an aggregate. So for example, for every three of the fantastic examples, how many more examples are there of it going the right way and doing the right thing?
Okay.
And if that's the case, then we have to numerically or mathematically figure out, well, percentage wise, these things are actually overwhelmingly meant and good for black people, and there's not a black culture of GoFundMe for the wrong things, or that people's funds are always or majority or even half or even a percent. We don't even know the percent. He keeps just bringing up random points or random examples that don't fit into the extremity or the bigger picture of everything, and we have no way to quantify to even say that this is something that black culture does.
Here's
That's
where
problematic.
here's Mr. Fantastic's mistake is saying I think it's fraud, right? I think that's the mistake you made, Mr. Fantastic. It's not fraud. I think you're looking at a culture of under preparation, spending beyond the means, right? And then allowing things like GoFundMe and etc. to cover for you when you should prepare because you never know. If Tink Tink is out in the streets and he doing whatever, does his family have the foresight to think he gonna die? Like maybe that's the point that you're making in terms of just us being underprepared, not preparing for life changing and altering circumstances from babies to the violence to people dying and etc. I think conflating that with fraud is the problem.
No, I cleaned that up. And I said that it wouldn't be defined as far from a legal standpoint. I cleared that. Like
No, no, you
my
said I know.
opinion.
No, I that's what I'm saying. You said
opinion
I think it's fraud. That part I think kind of.
But then I made it that's where and I conceded that. I said I give you that. I said I wouldn't count that as fraud. I wouldn't count that as fraud because most people wouldn't see that legally as fraud. What I'm saying though, Hamp, is this, right? And to Cheeky's point, again, for one, I'm not making the argument that it's most or whatever. But what I'm saying is, again, in the community, right? I don't think there's ever going to be the vast majority of anything to where most of it's bad or evil or criminal or whatever. We know that, right? So that in itself is a moot point to even try and make, right? What I'm saying though, for us, it is higher, it is more highly accepted, and it's the culture that's expected. Even to the point of where we're saying, fuck GoFundMe. Hell, what they say when somebody died, what they gonna have to do?
Have a cookout or
wait
play,
before we
fish fry and car washes. A fucking fish fry, a fish fry. That why when I say some true shit, it's fucked up.
No, it's no.
Why can I tell the truth about us?
Let me make this last.
It's not about that. You are making comparative analysis. Go ahead, Ham.
Let me make this. Yeah, I mean the fish fry, the plate. Now here's the other thing. When I look at it as cultural, it makes sense, right? When you don't have access to money from before, right? So to get loans and etc. wasn't as we didn't have the same access, several years ago. It's different now, right? But maybe 60, 70 years ago. So the thing about the susu, you guys ever heard that term? To where the family, the people in that conglomerate send money in monthly, and then one family gets to take that money and do something with it. So that's because it was a need. It was you had to do that because we have access to funds and such. So when I see it, I'm like, oh, it makes sense that it's cultural because it's been a thing that had to be done. And so now the only thing changes now is you have GoFundMe to where you can get it to 1 million people as opposed to 50 people in your area. So I don't know if it's negative, but I know it's a thing that people do. I know a few Vietnamese communities specifically, just 'cause I used to work closely with a few of them. They have a susu in their neighborhood every month. Somebody gets like $5,000 or so. So
yeah, but listen, and that's a great point, right? But that's a communal understanding and agreed upon thing as to where that's the standard, right? As to where, and most importantly, everybody's contributing. Even the poorest person is contributing whatever they deem that they can contribute in order for everybody to be good, right? What I'm saying is this, right? Okay. And again, the worst thing about being niggas is understanding niggas, bro, and being brave enough to tell the truth. I'm sorry, man. God damn. Like,
you ain't said nothing. Fantastic.
Jesus Christ. I said nothing. I've said nothing but actually how the shit is, bro.
What truth you told, bro?
Didn't, bro. See, and it's a issue.
Let him go. You keep saying, I interrupted him.
No, but it's like he keeps saying what he keeps saying that he's doing something that he's not doing. He can say, I'm just telling the truth about what happens when black people got to find funds. No, what you're doing is making a comparative analysis. We do it the most. Right. That's the issue. You don't just say, oh, we do it and there's a problem with us doing it. You say we're the ones that do it the most out of every other group. So then that requires you to understand and know what the other group is doing and have some type of proof or evidence of that.
That's all we saying, big dog.
I just told you the latest number. I just showed you the latest available numbers after I conceded to you saying the otherwise, though. So I just showed you the numbers showing that fucking from federal fraud cases, black people led at 39% versus white people's 36%.
And what was the takeaway of that?
The takeaway is
there was no convictions. So that means that there's something still going on where they made
we couldn't find it. We couldn't find it.
Did we not look it up and try to find convictions?
We couldn't find conviction. We just saw a 6-month snapshot that said black people have had a 3% higher fraud cases.
And it couldn't come up with any other the other history. It showed blank.
Either way, bro. This is what I'm saying. At the end of the day, this topic, the overall topic was here.
The Rose fantastic. You against the Rose, fight back.
I'm not against the Rose. I'm whooping both of y'all ass.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I'm waiting for fucking Cheeky to throw in a damn towel. I don't know. I don't know how Cheeky's setting up. I mean, whooping Cheeky ass is like round 0.
You ain't substantiating nothing, bro.
Cheeky said I was wrong about everything in Shad. What made it so bad? You helped me whoop his ass by saying, you didn't substantiate your claim. You're right, Cheeky. I'm sorry. But anyway, seriously, listen, bro. At the end of the day, bro, somebody has to be the bad guy. I'm willing to be him. Okay, I'm willing to be the bad guy. I'm willing to talk about the shit that niggas do and niggas don't want to acknowledge that niggas do. Okay, it's okay, brother. Again, like I said, I at no point said the majority or most or whatever black people participate, but the culture of it and the exception of it and the adoption of it is too high. Okay, in our community. Okay, where it's okay, it's excused, it's whatever, all these different things, so on and so forth. Right. At the end of the day, there should be no way that a woman gets $50,000, as Cheeky said, from her own community, right? Being that she preyed on her own community. The people that actually supported her knew her life story about dealing with this ain't shit nigga she done had these kids by. They collect $50,000 to give this woman. Then after this woman gets back with the same man they helped her escape, okay? And she tells them, hey, I'm sorry, this nigga put the dick back on me and pause, and now I gave him all the money. He ran off with the money. My life re-fucked up again.
Nah, Miss Fantastic. I think you could have been the bad guy, but I think you end up being a delusional guy because you tell you why. Because you want. Here's what I'm hearing. I could be wrong. This is my interpretation. You want what y'all claim I want. You want perfection. So you have cases of something that you don't like. I think where you would have been a bad guy if you would have called out black people for not being prepared for death or needing to go to these crowd sourcing campaigns to deal with those type of situations, seeing that increase, I think that would have been something we all could have got around. Hey, black people, we need to be prepared for in life. No, I'm saying you tried to bring the fraud conversation up, which you haven't been able to substantiate, because even GoFundMe itself says only 1 out of every 1,000 campaigns has fraud associated with it. So you trying to attach it to black people when there's nothing, you don't have any data to substantiate it, bro. But you do have data to substantiate us not being prepared for end of life.
Yeah, but let me. So again, I don't know how, and I'm not refuting what you're saying about the one and thing, right? I don't know how they're coming to that conclusion as to where it only includes the one that make it and they didn't catch. And I think that's the case. So in most cases, if something goes against terms or something doesn't match or something doesn't look right, it's eliminated. So the fraud case never makes it to be fraud because fucking GoFundMe detects it, or they see something inconsistency, and they delete the campaign and return all the money to the donor.
That ain't fair, bro. That ain't fair. You be doing it. You cast doubt on everybody else's calculations, but everything you say is golden rule. You can't do that. That's not fair, bro.
You can't say it's not fair. I'm asking the question. I'm about to give you an example. The brick lady. The brick lady was actually a fraud case because the brick lady came to there and she got the money and so on and so forth, and she ended up going to jail for fraud. She was convicted of fraud. So that's what I'm saying. I'm questioning as to how and why they get to say that it's only 1% or less than 1 out of 1,000 cases, because for the most part, it's never revealed. They never discovered that it's actually a fraud case, or someone brings it to light that that's what it is. It's not that there's
regardless,
no
they have their own. But even with that being the case, that means that they have their own definition, or a definition that they're using to identify fraud, which would more than likely match the definition that matters. If they're reporting their fraud to be fraud, just because you may not agree with the criteria on how they do it, doesn't mean that it's not reported.
It's not a regret. You listen what I'm saying, Cheeky. I'm not disagreeing with that. You are 10,000% right. Shad is 10,000% right. What I'm questioning, what I'm asking is, are they including, or all the cases that are caught and that are thrown out excluded? Because I know GoFundMe has, so like, let's use the Carmelo Anthony, right? Carmelo Anthony wasn't able to do a fraud case, or he wasn't able to do the GoFundMe because they don't allow court cases or whatever. We agree? We tracking?
Yeah.
So either way, I'm not accusing that of being fraud, but I'm just saying they have strict parameters and so on and so forth in certain things, right? So when people tried to do the GoFundMe, it was brought to their attention that was a reason for it. People are actually giving the money, but they kicked that shit out, right? Not saying that it's fraud, but you see what I'm saying? So that is like it never ever happened, because all the people that had their money, it doesn't become fraud until people are deceived and lose money. We agree there, correct? Do we agree?
Yeah, that fraud is just people being deceived and losing money. Yeah.
They actually lose the money. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm asking is, does that include the cases where either the GoFundMe rules and regulations or whatever catches it and say, hey, this shit don't match up, but it's on whatever, you know what, we're just gonna cancel this shit and throw everybody their money back? Or it's only the cases that make it to like the brick lady shit is what I'm asking. I'm posing the question. I'm not being I'm not trying to limit what you guys are saying.
I don't have to answer. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want to answer on that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So again, but yeah, even in that's what I'm saying, man. It's just that, like, to Shad's point, to your overall, Shad, that was the fraud shit, brother. Again, was the overall case, because this was viral at the moment. That's why I said it was the culture. We just didn't put it in the we didn't get a chance to put it in the tagline in the topic. There is a GoFundMe culture. There is a unpreparedness culture. There's a rewarding of people being irresponsible culture, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's problematic as to where, and it combines with the ability to predate. Because if I see, oh shit, these niggas gave $10,000 to this family, and they ain't did nothing but be online every day showing what they got and this and that and all this, and designer and Jordan and jewelry and alcohol and weed, and again, I'm just being hyperbolic, of course, but that exists. I'm pretty sure we know that exists. Lo and behold, you have some tragedy in the family, but what were you doing with your money? And the thing about it, as much as we say, life insurance or whatever is expensive, life insurance cheap as hell for a kid.
No, I got you. I think this again. I'm kind of with Cheeky, right? We keep adding all these, giving black people all these badges to put to their jacket about things they should work on, and I think oftentimes it's not done in good faith, and it hasn't been substantiated. And I would just prefer, things like this. Like I said, I think you would approach this with the preparation conversation. I think that would have been a great conversation to give us some lashes. But trying to create the fraud thing is like, then we attaching the song to it. It's just like, man. And I also just think social media, man, just depending on what your algorithm is and what you watch, I think it does corrupt. It corrupts your ideas and your vision of what's happening in reality. I do believe that social media does illustrate reality, but I also think if you get caught in a certain algorithm, you start to think this is the thing, and I'm certain that that's not always the case. And I think we see these cases, these viral cases, because I think those are part of the conversation about the things we go viral about. Because I was thinking, like for instance, Hemp, are you familiar with the Kerwin Pittman story?
No.
So Kerwin Pittman was a formerly incarcerated man that just recently bought a prison. First incarcerated person to ever do it, and his plan is he's like the CEO for the recidivism. He has an organization. His plan is for his building, his institution, to actually rehabilitate people. You know what I mean? But that was in my algorithm, so I saw that. You know what I mean? The case that we're talking about now, I didn't see it. So I also think that's a part of when we have these conversations, we have to acknowledge if you're getting inundated with conversation about this, you start thinking, man, this is an uptick. But then when you really start to get behind the headlines, you're like, nah, these just, it's just the typical news propaganda approach to information that's always been here. I'm just saying having that consideration. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I'm saying before we go to it's a thing, it's an actual thing, because so far I haven't been able to find any data that substantiates an uptick in fraud with GoFundMe. I haven't been able to find anything.
And then another thing too is how do we quantify a community? Like I'm tired of like maybe less than 1% of something quantifying as a community.
You saying how do we qualify what qualifies the community? How do you quantify what qualifies?
How do you quantify what qualifies as an acceptance of the community? For example, do 20% of Black people agree that fraud is okay, and then because of that 20%, we all have to carry the Black community accepts fraud, and that's the issue with the Black community? Like, we need to start hammering out some of these ideas and numbers, because if all he has to do is go to a comment section on YouTube or a video here, this, that, and the third, and look at something that's popular and see some Black people say it, and then I can do the exact same thing and show some Black people say the other thing. How do we start quantifying this stuff? Because we just say it, and the shit just get annoying, because you put a jacket on Black people, and then white people, you will use the exact same thing they're doing or he's saying, and then put it on, and then he don't see the problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you and also, Cheeky, to properly assess, we have to agree on how far you go back, right? Because there's no way you go to any so-called Native American and they're gonna tell you Black people lead in fraud. Not as much as they got defrauded out their land and all types of shit, right? So what is the face of what? Like, it's an interesting conversation. Like, when does it stop, start, and etc. I think the best case that was made today, and I'm not saying it because it was me, just the barbershop thing. Honestly, like we kind of just accept that as cultural. We accept that, like, at the barbershop. We all do. Like, did he come? Damn, I missed him. Like, so,
right, the CD man, right.
So I can see that, it's Shad, and I got this largely from you. The quantitative is cool, right? And then we're making assumptions and assertions only based on that, but we have to do the qualitative study as well.
Have to,
right? So that really matters. And to be honest, he was asked about the last 6 months. The aggregate, that's all it had.
For sure, yeah.
So
So to piggyback on what you just said, right? Because I thought we kind of slid by the conversation a little too quick about the barbershop. Because we had these conversations. I'm saying, are we? Because it's interesting. People think I be promoting like a purist mindset, and it's not. I'm saying there are things about being in America, about being in the West, that we all have adopted. Mm-hmm. We can come here and pretend like we don't, but we want a good deal. In the world, in the earth, if you can get a good deal, and that good deal might require someone to break a rule, you're gonna be cool with that good deal. If somebody can guarantee me I can get what is it? Laundry detergent for $10. If I can give me a gallon of laundry detergent for $10 a month, I'm going to take it. Yeah. But that's what I'm doing. I'm taking from someone who charges a little bit more. And I'm saying most people, that's the American way.
Yeah, said no man ever. Where's your vendor's license?
Right.
So now I understand. just in terms of just understanding. So again, is this come down to an American thing?
Yeah. And I'm saying, we're really trying to cleanse it. Are we really trying to cleanse it all? Or I think we're doing the typical thing. We use black people as cannon fodder for all the destruction in America. Let's use them. Let's use them as a face of everything wrong with America. And then we see, like I said,
I got you. I understand. Aaron, did you have something? I'm gonna read these supers and then we gonna roll.
I mean, shout out to the 3 for 10, 5 for 20 on the ribeyes and the Napster DJ Clue mixtape.
There you go. It's a fact.
But as far as the conversation, I mean, it's
yeah, I think. Sorry, what you saying?
You playing music, Red and Stimpy.
Yeah.
What cartoon was that? That was on The Simpsons, right?
Itchy and Scratchy Show.
Itchy and Scratchy Show, yeah.
Listening to the three of y'all, it just reminds me of that. After a while, it's like,
Not me. I liked it.
He was like, he's about to have an aneurysm. Hold your head, Cheeky. Look at him. He got his head between his knees.
Bro, because this should be sad, bro. I be caring about black people too much. I'm gonna stop caring. I'm gonna be like Fantastic one day. I swear to God.
Nah,
fuck them kids. Fuck them kids, and then get an abortion and don't feed them. Nobody care about the community. Y'all all frauds. Fuck them.
Nah, you're the
one
right.
day I'm gonna get there. I guess when I get 40. I don't know.
You're on the right team, Cheeky. Trust me, man. You're on the right team, bro. Trust me.
I think there's I think the aspect that I think we got to give an honest assessment is there now this I think Cheeky broadens out to more people. Like just strictly like not even like the not snitching thing, but do we actually like admonish all the behaviors? You know what I'm saying? Like what would be deemed negative behavior? Like how much do we actually speak out against them or care overwhelmingly? Like I mentioned in the booster in the thing with the DVDs, you always want to see the DVD man before you go to the grocery store or the CDs. You know what I'm saying? That aspect, or just like the low level crime shit in general. Like, do we live by the rule? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yes.
Is that a problem?
What's interesting is it becomes a problem when we're doing it. When the ruling class does it, it's strategy.
It's strategy.
That's what's interesting.
Yeah.
So when we go to other countries and do what we do, we can make order. We can make it like you listen to those people talk about it, they have a different perspective. But when we do the American exceptionalism thing, we'll make all types of excuses for it. I know. I understand why you're making a face. I get it, especially in this conversation. This part of the conversation.
More poignantly, I think it's like asking the question, are we all liars? We've all told a lie at some point in our life, right? It's just so gradient. People just are weighing their gradient level against other people's gradient level of the same thing they were all at some point guilty of doing.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. So again, this is what I say in the word. Listen, again, man, it's a false equivalency or false framing when you do it that way, because again, America, for the most part, when you're talking about America imposing its will or getting over on other people, right? And at the end of the day, right, America getting over on other people doesn't just benefit America as an individual; it benefits a whole nation of people.
You're doing exactly what I do. You making excuses for it. I get you. Reasons. You're making reasons why it makes sense.
Well, again, it's something that if you could, you would, but you can't, so you ain't. If China did the same thing. China did it. China's done it.
It's fantastic. You're just scaling the same behavior, right? Like,
well, no, I'm not. No, I'm not scaling. No.
Because there's a boot. Let me explain why. There is a what is it called? There's like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a system, like a nuclear, not nuclear, but so like boxing has like a ecosystem.
Tiers of ecosystem. Okay.
Ecosystem, right? There's journeymen who get the prospects ready, right? And they're able to feed their families. There's boxers that get flown out to spar, right? Because they have the same body type as the upcoming opponent, and they get to feed their families by being in camp. There's most boxers know they ain't gonna be at the top. A lot of times you got to sell your own tickets, right? You put somebody on the show, or you won't get paid, so you can have that person on the show to build up your. It's a whole ecosystem, right? We literally talking about ecosystem with the booster. They boost, you pay. The stores expect to have shrink, but they're still in the neighborhood. Like it's like an ecosystem of all this stuff. We justifying it because we saying America or China in the military. Nah, There Will Be Blood is one of the greatest depictions of that time. Killing, stealing, all that shit. But it's a great movie. It's with what's the guy? He played the butcher.
Danny,
yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, Day-Lewis.
Fucking
He cold.
great.
He cold.
He up there
It's a
with
great-
I be putting like
it's a great
him, Tom
movie.
Hanks, and Denzel for their age area, you know. But we make it like a grandiose story, but it's the same. It's the behavior is the behavior, regardless of who it benefits, right?
No. You can't. No, you can't compare. I think we rationalize or we do it to make it seem like is I guess like some Robin Hood type shit to where it's justified at the lower levels, right? Bro, it's nothing of the same. Okay, comparing street level anything to the movement of nations that are responsible for the survival and the progress of a whole group of people who are benefiting millions, hundreds of millions of people.
Okay,
There's nothing for the.
Let's do a couple of things. So let's say Miss Fantastic in street war, do innocent people die?
Yes.
In military operations, do innocent people die?
Yes.
So why can't we compare it? Why can't we compare these things?
Are you done with that question?
Yeah.
All right, now again, okay. Now in street wars, right? When an innocent person dies, what is the overall benefit to the community from that innocent person dying?
You just answer it. Give me the difference.
I answered the question.
There's no benefit. What's the benefit to an innocent person dying? There's no benefit.
Okay, so on the other hand, when an innocent person dies in a actual national conflict, right? There are resources involved, taxes, freedoms, rights.
What's the benefit to the community, Ms. Fantastic? What's the benefit to that community where the innocent person died?
Well, no, it's the overall purpose. So we're talking about the conflict in itself. War is the overall. We're talking about conflict. So don't make it to that. Of course, it's an innocent person dying. So of course that person is going to lose out. But what I'm saying on the other side of that, there is a positive. There is a fucking positive as to where the American dollar is at stake or whatever in maintaining this power for you. Hold on. For you.
Same thing. My gang win. If my gang win, same thing. It's a benefit for us. We won.
No, it don't. No, so who does if you're not a member of the gang, do you benefit from what the gang does?
If you're not a member of the country,
no. If you're not a member of the gang, do you benefit from what the gang does?
I could actually. If I'm in the territory with the winning game, you can't do that.
If you're not a member of the gang, if you're not a member of the Bloods or the Crips, after the Blood and Crips do a motherfucking drive-by, the nigga get motherfucking clipped or die, you don't get no motherfucking money. You don't get anything. Now, on the other hand, in America, since you're an American, you get a fucking benefit. Okay? You get a benefit to have a fucking green dollar and a blue passport.
No, I expect you to say that. This is what I'm saying. Like we'll talk about outcomes. We'll justify the reasoning with similar outcomes. That's all I'm saying.
I have the question, right?
You have to show me where any way, shape, form, or fashion where low level street level crime benefits the people as a whole in the fucking community or a nation.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay, so because I don't like the pigeonhole of depending on how many people it benefits, right? But based on the premise, Bumpy Johnson is a hero, right? Because that's the whole of Harlem. That's black people far and wide in New York City, right? So just based on your premise, Bumpy Johnson qualifies. Because remember, they couldn't run numbers. They were the drugs that were coming in. There was no benefit when that money was coming in. Now you have the subset of people who are using it, but there, you know how many people were eating off that? The whole Frank Lucas, Bumpy John. I mean, it's a lot of people. So by proxy of what you're saying, Mr. Fantastic, Bumpy is in that category.
Okay, so now correlated to gang members.
Now he's on pigeonhole. I guess my game member.
No, I'm not pigeonholing. My thing would be this, right? So my thing would be this: Bumpy Johnson being a crime boss, I guess, right, and controlling an entire city and what's the name, Jot from this one aspect, be it drugs, be it numbers, be it this, be it that, so on and so forth, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, right? And I think we can agree that there's levels, right?
Yeah, so I'm just saying but I'm saying is that a
no, I would accept that premise. I would not fight for that premise. I wouldn't fight against that premise because not only did that, you could argue he was an internal war even from the criminal aspect because he was protecting blacks from the Italians, right? Yeah. So that would be more correlating with nations versus nations, right? You all agree, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and Jews, right? So that's what I'm saying. So that's something I can upset, but I don't think that's well, I say things for a reason. That's not low level crime, is it, Hamp?
What, Bumpy Johnson in them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was low.
I think it was low level.
No, you just said it. It wasn't low level crime. He's a crime boss.
Oh, maybe I'm saying low level, like what they do. Like, so like, for instance, like Al Capone running liquor, selling drugs is low level shit. I'm saying that's how I'm saying. But you saying
I agree. Yeah,
so you saying like let me just change the verbiage. You saying it's not small time.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
Like, so it's low level crime, but at a higher level. I guess at a higher.
It's tier. Big time. It's not small time.
Right, but it's higher tier.
That's
right.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I'm attacking, being that we know organized crime is few and far in between. We can agree on that premise too, right? Organized crime now versus organized crime years ago in that time has depleted by a lot, right? We agree.
Yeah,
you don't have as many crime.
I don't see the prevalence. And we had the NBA thing, which lets you know it's more insidious and like
covert and whatever. It still exists, of course. It's always going to exist, but it's nothing like it was before. What I'm saying, and in the black community, I ain't heard of the last Bumpy Johnson. I'm even trying to think of the last kingpin we knew about for real that was on that level was like Big Meech, right? I think the last prevalent drug dealer.
He's younger than them, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the last person because like Rayful and all of them would predate him in like the 80s. Big Meech would have been like the biggest guy we can think of in the 2000s, right?
Might be the same.
So
very similar time frame, yeah.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I'm just saying, like Mr. Attacks again, bro. Like we've been having a lot of conversations. What you're doing is it's a psychological term for this called system justification theory, where we make excuses, validations for larger institutions, right? Because for instance, like we'll justify America bailing out big banks because they hire people, even though they had horrible business practices that got them in the situation they was in. We'll make justification for that bailout while condemning individuals who make individual bad decisions and bailing them out with welfare. And so we do the same thing when we have conversations about like the military conflict. We make justifications and we justify their actions. But when we see people on a lower level doing similar things with less organization, less sophistication, we condemn them. So that's why we kind of find ourselves in this perpetual circle because we don't actually have a problem with the things. We find ways to justify things, particularly when we're closer to them. Because what I'm saying is like, when you talk to military people, right, they'll always find a way to justify it. But if you talk to people who were parties, occupations, they don't have the same opinion on what occurred. Whose opinion is more valid? You see what I'm saying? How do we decide that? We're Americans, so for more than likely, we're going to take the side of the American soldier and the military. But we go talk to the people in these countries, they consider y'all to be the devil.
Of course. I mean, yeah, just like.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's national exceptionalism. That's nothing new. National exceptionalism is nothing new.
But you see what I'm saying? How we can justify systems that are corrupt doing the same thing that we criticize. I'm gonna use y'all terminology, Pookie and Ray for playing the system and trying to beat the system on his own way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and again, my problem with that is when you really start breaking everything down. Again, I would give Hamp his point that we were talking in the Bumpy Johnson days and all these different things and so on and so forth, where the whole community was taken care of and looked out for. That's one thing, right? But again, now once you look at it to where most of these things are fractured and they're individual people acting on their own, but they're claiming whatever, Is I don't know how many fucking different factions of Bloods and Crips there are at this point.
Okay, cool. I got you.
So what I'm saying is none of this stuff benefits the black community as a whole. Black people aren't. You're way more victims and being in a deficit, right, or coming out on the negative than the positive. If you were even able to show me to where it was more positive than negative, I would concede to that point. But what we both know, Shad, that's not the case.
I got you. Yeah, I'm not defending it. I'm not defending gangbangers or anything like that. I'm just saying our cognitive dissonances don't play. Let's take it away from gangsters for a minute. Let's talk about drugs, like pharmaceuticals, right? You remember the first time you were watching a commercial and you saw the white lady skipping, and then they read the side effects, and one of the side effects was death. And I go, how the hell a drug that's going to supposedly help me with my high blood pressure could potentially kill me, and it's legal, but people can't smoke weed. You see what I'm saying? We'll justify, and I'm not saying we like me and you, but we'll justify Big Pharma. We understand why Big Pharma exists, even though we know they ain't curing nothing. They just running a bag up on Americans.
Yeah,
because we have exactly. We got a treatment based healthcare system, but we'll justify that. You see what I'm saying? But we'll condemn dude on the corner trying to get high for crack rock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the difference would still be this. Now, like you said, that drug or whatever, right, has a point to where it actually does something to treat a medical condition or lessen a medical condition for the most part, right? Its sole purpose isn't to get you high. Now, I will concede we had the whole oxycodone thing that happened to where Big Pharma knowingly addicted the whole fucking country, right? Dirty shit, very, very dirty game. So the ultimate drug dealer of all time would be Big Pharma. I think it was Merck. They call him Merck or whatever it was.
Yeah, Merck.
Merck. They paid like, you know, however many fucking, like, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they made billions, right? Nobody went to jail, right? Understand this, bro. Listen, what I'm saying is this, right? Even in the case of that, it wasn't 100% of the people that got addicted to it, and you know, it served no benefit. It actually did serve the purpose of helping people with pain and certain issues and whatnot, so on and so forth, right? Crack does nothing other than, there's no positive benefit of crack other than getting you high.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Well,
even in that case, it is a self-serving. My bad. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I was going to say no. I was about to read these super chats.
I'll just say this real quick, man. Fantastic. All I'm saying is, when you look at society, the progression of society, what you will notice is they convinced us to look at the least, the lesser, and make them out of problems, while the system has been able to recreate itself, get stronger and stronger and stronger, become Voltron, all the Power Rangers, everybody could combine, the X-Men, and it's a machine that can't be beaten, because it's as society, right? Because we would argue it's more of us than whoever the elite or whoever's controlling the strings. But we spend all our time dealing with the lesser instead of having a concerted effort, a concerted focus on the machine that keeps all of us in the situation that we're in. And I'm saying we still should be able to condemn and shame shame my brothers, ask for correction from the people we can touch in our neighborhoods. But I just noticed that in these conversations, a lot of time we talking about fraud. We find a way to justify fraud in the systems, but we condemning Miss Lady for, you know, getting what she should be condemned for, because that was wrong. So
that's a crazy play, right? Just generally, Shad, did you just assess her in a silo?
Yeah,
like,
that was wrong.
So you told us he was doing you dirty, so we gave you 50, and you said psych.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that is crazy, you know?